Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for June 12th, 2013. It's currently 8:50 a.m. and we have a very interesting and potentially dangerous situation developing for tomorrow afternoon with severe thunderstorms, flash flooding, wind damage. But first, let's take a look at our current conditions. You can see throughout the northern tier we have temperatures in the lower to mid 60s. Over the New York City metropolitan area, basically mid to upper 60s, and the Philadelphia metropolitan area in the lower 70s. We have a nice westerly wind ranging anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour, at times gusting over 20 miles per hour, as we have an air mass building in with a series of disturbances moving through. For today, for the most part, we're dealing with scattered cloud cover and dry conditions. We do have a threat for an isolated shower and maybe even a very, very isolated thunderstorm this afternoon, as we have a series of disturbances moving through. The main story, though, is going to be tomorrow with this disturbance. So for the most part, today is kind of our quiet before the storm, with tranquil weather conditions for most locations and temperatures rebounding nicely into the mid to upper 70s over Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s over the New York City metropolitan area, and lower to mid 80s over the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Now, when we take a look at our radar, you can see a few of these isolated showers developing and driving to the south and east. Again, for the most part, I think most locations will remain dry, but I can't rule out an isolated shower here or there. The main story we can see clearly on the water vapor satellite picture, as this dynamic disturbance drives to the east and this stationary front lifts off to the east as well, and basically sets up over New Jersey and just to the south of Long Island by tomorrow afternoon. And this boundary is going to be very important, because to the south of this boundary we have a very warm, humid, unstable air mass, and to the north we have a moisture saturated, stable air mass that's going to support the potential for a lot of heavy rainfall. So the model guidance I'm using right now to illustrate what's happening is the NAM model guidance. I should point out that the NAM model guidance does have plenty of strong support from the European model guidance, the Canadian model guidance, and a variety of others. The GFS is a little bit further north, and so if this stationary boundary or warm front boundary is to the north of New York City, then they also will be in play for some severe thunderstorms. Now let me dive into this here. Here we are on Thursday afternoon. Why is this boundary so important? Here's our warm front boundary, right? Let's push it one more hour, let's say, to about 2 p.m. Here's our warm front boundary, right over central New Jersey, just to the south of Long Island. Now when we take a look at the temperatures over the Philadelphia metro are very warm. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s. But to the north of that warm front boundary, we have temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Now I think this might be a bit extreme here. So let's say that they're in the lower to mid 60s, okay? We also have dew points quite different. We have dew points pushing into the 70s in the Philadelphia metro, and in the, well, let's just say lower 60s, because again, I think this might be a little bit extreme here. But the point here is not the specific temperature forecast, it's the thermal gradient. The thermal gradient that's setting up in this scenario leads to two very different and dynamic weather phenomena. To the north of this front, you're going to get very heavy rainfall. Wind gusts are also going to exceed 50 miles per hour and some embedded thunderstorms, but the real focus here to the north of this stationary front slash warm front will be the very heavy rainfall and the potential for rainfall amounts tomorrow afternoon through early Friday morning, ranging from 1 to 3 inches with locally higher amounts. Now to the south, that's where this gets really tricky. Notice tomorrow afternoon we have pretty much dry conditions over southern New Jersey. We even have some breaks in the cloud cover over southern New Jersey and the Philadelphia metropolitan area. And we have a very unstable atmosphere, very warm temperatures at the surface, aloft at 500 millibars. Temperatures are very cold. And that leads to a very unstable atmosphere, because that means that the air at the surface can rise all the way up to 500 millibars, creating very strong thunderstorms. We also have very strong wind gusts at 850 and 700 millibars. So basically we have a lot of helicity, a lot of turning in the atmosphere. We have the environment that is moisture saturated with plenty of moisture at the surface, and we have a very unstable atmosphere with very strong dynamic lifting at 500 millibars. So moving forward through the afternoon evening hours, what you end up with is the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms capable of frequent cloud to ground lightning, or ground to cloud lightning, should I say, large hail, wind gusts over 50 miles per hour easily, over 60 miles per hour. If a derecho forms, then you're talking about wind gusts of 70 to 90 miles per hour. You're also looking at the potential for a very isolated tornado and, of course, very heavy downpours. So you're dealing with wind damage, hail damage, flash flooding. Overall, a very nasty situation from roughly central New Jersey, say Monmouth County, on south through Cape May County, all of southeastern Pennsylvania, including the Philadelphia metropolitan area. The New York City metropolitan area, right now I'm thinking pretty much a heavy rain event with the potential for widespread flash flooding. I'm very concerned about locations around the Raritan River where you're going to see the potential for rainfall rates of a half an inch per hour in some of these cases, in some models I'm looking at. So it's going to be a rather dangerous situation tomorrow afternoon and evening. And of course, I'm going to have live coverage to keep an eye on this environment and the developments of this storm, because the specific track of this low pressure system and where these boundaries set up will be very, very important. And how these storms develop and evolve will also be equally important on the influence of other storms in the region. So a very complicated and potentially dangerous situation will evolve in this storm setup. Moving forward, once that low pressure system exits, by Friday evening, we'll have dry conditions start to build in. Still a few showers lingering into the Friday afternoon hours, but I think for the most part, most people will dry out, with temperatures remaining a bit cool, basically ranging from the mid to upper 60s over the northern tier, lower to mid 70s everywhere else. By Saturday and Sunday, high pressures in complete control with very comfortable weather conditions, mid to upper 70s over the northern tier, upper 70s along the coast, mid to upper 70s over Long Island, and lower to mid 80s in the Philadelphia metropolitan area. So overall, a very comfortable and pleasant weekend can be expected for Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures pretty much seasonable, a little bit below normal over portions of Connecticut, but overall, a very nice weekend can be expected, And then for Monday, Tuesday, and as we head into Wednesday of next week, we're going to be dealing with a few more disturbances moving through, with the potential for showers, and also more humid weather conditions as a new Bermuda high sets up off the coast, transporting more humid air, warmer air, and we're talking about temperatures rebounding very nicely into the mid to upper 70s over Long Island, upper 70s to lower 80s along the New Jersey coast, lower to mid 80s in the New York City metropolitan area, and mid to upper 80s in the Philadelphia metropolitan area. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. I'll have the latest weather information on this severe thunderstorm threat for tomorrow with live coverage via NYNJPA Weather, NYNJPA Weather on Twitter, and also on Facebook. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and please get prepared for tomorrow.